Capsicums are also known as bell peppers in America or just peppers in the UK. Here in Kenya, you can just say green capsicums or just bell pepper. In the intermediate stage of ripening, capsicums can be green, then yellow or orange. When fully ripe, capsicums are red and are at their peak when it comes to vitamin and antioxidant content. Green pepper, on the other side, is packed with the most nutrition because they've been in the vine the longest. Green peppers are harvested earlier before they have a chance to turn yellow, orange, and then red. Compared to green bell peppers, the red ones have almost 11 times more beta-carotene and 1.5 times more vitamin C inside the pepper. Although they do vary slightly in flavor depending on their color. Well, today we want to explore green pepper, or just call it bell pepper. Hello and welcome to yet another exciting episode of Kilimo na Biashara. Well, by the time you're watching this show, perhaps the weather will have changed, could be sunny, but right here in Murang'a, where we're shooting this show, it's quite sunny. A few minutes later, it's drizzling, but well, do you have a small portion of land where you are and you're wondering what to plant? Today, we want to show you what you can do with, let's say, half an acre or even a quarter, get it utilized. So we want to explore green pepper here in Murang'a County. So shall we? Let's go to the farm. I have to be careful with this. And I told you, even before I got to the farm, it's already drizzling, but we'll do this. Gladys!
Yes, Linda.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Welcome.
It's always a pleasure to have you in the show.
Thank you so much. Welcome to the farm.
Thank you. Gladys, so what's happening here? What do we have today?
We have a green capsicum, or you can even call it bell pepper. It is super green F1 from U Farm Holdings. And you can see it's a very healthy crop considering the weather currently is quite harsh. We have serious rain and also sunshine. It's alternating, but the crop is very healthy.
Yes.
This one is what is actually known, the green pepper. It is what most farmers in Kenya and even consumers know. The other colored capsicums are used in hotels. People know them in hotels. I think because of the rise in modern hotels now, people now have started using them. But what we know is the green pepper or the bell pepper.
Yes. This particular farmer is growing it outdoor. Is it even recommended? Is it conducive to be grown outside?
Yeah, this is an open field variety. Most of the green peppers are open field varieties. So here in the open, we have open field varieties. We have OPVs, open pollinated varieties, and then we have hybrids. This one is a hybrid.
So how do you begin, by seedling or by seed, when you want to start planting?
We do seedlings in most cases. They will look for seedlings from nurseries, big nurseries like Plantec. Like this farmer here, he got his seedlings from Plantec. But there are also other people who will do direct seeding, but they will do it under drip irrigation because the seed stays for a long time without germination. Actually, before you germinate these seeds, you have to use something like a biostimulant to remove the dormants.
But Gladys, now if you say biostimulant, I'm thinking of a small-scale farmer huko nyumbani mwenye anapanda tu kadogo. Biostimulants ni nini?
Kwa mkulima mdogo, something biostimulant anaweza sema yenye iko readily available ni kama BioElite ya Vincetia East Africa. That one you soak your seeds in a solution and then you soak them for overnight. After 24 hours, you can sow your seeds. That way you'll have close to over 90% germination.
So what's the germination process like? Where do you begin, especially when you're beginning to plant?
You have to eat first some will grow between 7 to 14 days, depending. Some will overstay like even 2 weeks before they can germinate if they had a very serious dormancy. But there are others that will germinate exactly in 7 days. After germination now, there is something called damping off that usually happens in the nursery. You have to have a fungicide close by so that when they start now germinating, they have at least 2-3 leaves. You spray so that you'd avoid this disease called damping off. It's a fungal disease, and you can lose your seedlings up to 100% if you don't spray. Yeah.
Talking of diseases and fungal diseases, what are those diseases that affect this particular crop?
Yeah, pepper is a very critical plant to grow. It usually has very serious diseases. One of the diseases that has brought farmers down is powdery mildew. Powdery mildew is usually characterized by white spores below the leaves, and then on top of the leaves they will start turning yellow, then they will turn brown and the leaves will start falling. The reason why it's a serious disease, when the leaves now start getting that disease and they start falling, and they are the ones that make food for the plant. It means now we will not have food for the plant, we will not have flowers, we will not have leaves. That's why it's a very serious disease that needs to be checked. We also have like that is now what will be common in this region, powdery mildew. But we have other diseases like soft rot here because of a lot of water. When the fruit is pierced, water will enter and then it will start rotting, and then you will have fruits that are watery. Yeah.
Gladys, so what are the favorable weather conditions when it comes to bell peppers? You can picture someone who's in high altitude area and low altitude. Which one is really favorable?
It requires warm to moderate temperatures. For those people who grow it in very hot areas, it has very common challenges. You find that you will not find a healthy crop like this over a long period of time. But in very hot areas, those pests and diseases are very prevalent. You will spend a lot of money controlling them. Your crop will not be harvested for a very long time. Like this crop, the farmer will harvest for over 6 months. But in very hot areas, you harvest for 2-3. By the time you are in the 3rd month, the crop is already gone because of now the hot weather that is contributing to other factors, environmental factors that will affect your crop.
When it comes to soil, which one is really favorable for this particular crop?
I have seen this crop being grown down the valleys where we have clay soil, and it does very well. There are also people on the highlands who do it on loam soil. There are people who are doing it on red soil, on black soil. So this is it's a crop that can be grown on different kinds of soil. pH of the soil is what is critical, should be between 5.5 to 7.0, because if you use too much acidic soil, like below 5.5, the roots will not be able to go down to search for food.
The normal capsicum that I've seen normally grows even above my height, but these ones are quite low and they've already produced fruit. So what is the difference and which one produces better?
Super Green F1, it's a unique variety, it's a hybrid. This is one variety that you can grow indoor and outdoor. Like this farmer has grown it outdoor. It is going to, you can see it's still very vigorous, it's still growing. So at some point it will grow even to my height. That's why we even recommended those farmers who are doing evergreen in the greenhouse, you can also do Super Green F1 because it will still grow tall. You can support it on the sides because the fruits will make the plant weighty and it can fall on it. It's called breaking. It is going to break the stems. So it's recommended that you put a string on both sides to support the plant.
So which one is really efficient when you compare it with this grown outdoor and greenhouse?
Okay, there is no much difference. The difference is in the pricing for selling the fruits. This one currently at the market they are selling at 60 and 70 bob. At the farm it's 40 bob. But for the colored capsicum for greenhouse, you'll find that currently the price is at minimum 100, maximum of even 300 depending on the season. So the difference is in pricing. But this one can go as high as 100 per kilo. And that is why farmers are recommended to do economies of scale. Don't plant a quarter of an acre if you want to realize any profits. Do have an acre and above 1 acre so that when you are selling, you have economies of scale.
From an expert point of view, which one would you recommend, especially for a small-scale farmer, to go for outdoor or to go for greenhouse?
For small scale, I would say if they don't have greenhouse, they have no option. They will grow this one because this one doesn't require a lot of environmental control.
What are those cultural practices that a farmer should really adopt, especially when you're aiming at high yields?
First of all, you need to consider your spacing when you are planting. You see this plant, it is after you've grown it, after 1 month, it is developing branches. If you space it very closely, it will create a dark environment, and that is where you'll breed other problems. So you need to have proper spacing of about 40 centimeters to 60. So another cultural practice that someone needs to do is to avoid these weeds that you are seeing in this farm. These weeds, they breed diseases. They create an environment for diseases. Another thing, it's support of the peppers. Make sure the crop has good aeration. Let it have some space for air to flow.
So let's go see where we can plant. Okay, but they look so productive.
They are very productive.
They're so green.
Beautiful crop.
I think this
Very
is the
healthy.
place, yeah?
Yeah, this is the place we are going to plant.
You had already prepared.
Yeah, I already prepared some.
Nikupanda tu.
Nikupanda tu.
Sample kutuonyesha.
So Linda, this is how we plant. When we get the seedlings from Plantech, they come with as the soilless media.
So it won't react to a new environment because now it's from propagation unit.
Pale kwa propagation unit, the last 2 weeks huwa wanaanza kuharden off ndio izoe kwa outside environment. Kama inanyimwa for example maji. The spacing will be between 40 to 60 centimeters to allow proper branching and aeration. Yeah.
So this one you soaked?
Yeah, this ones I soaked overnight when you told me you are coming. Yeah.
So ihitaji shimo kubwa?
Hapana, hii haitaki shimo kubwa kwa sababu unaona tayari the plant is kadogo. Wakati sasa italimiwa, hata hii mchanga bado italetwa pamoja ifunike hiyo shimo. Yeah, so no need for a big hole.
So between the two, which one will be faster in germination?
This one is not germinating already kwa sababu ilishamea kwa nursery. This one is just taking off. After you transplant it, it will just take off. Ni kumea tu, itaendelea kumea. In 2 weeks time it will have flowers. But this one that we did with seeding, it will take some time before it germinate kwanza. And it will require a lot of extra care than this one. Yeah.
Gladys, so you plant one seed?
No, you won't plant one seed. You need to plant two, so that in case one doesn't germinate, the other one will germinate. And if they do germinate both of them, you can transplant one to another location.
It won't be carried away by water.
Hapana, itabebwa na maji. Sasa juu tumeitengeneza kashimo vizuri, ili kuendelea tu itaanza tu kumea, but nilikwambia this is not a common practice. Haitumiki na wakulima sana.
So how long will this one for the seeds that we've planted with the seed take before it grows to this level?
For the transplanted seedlings, the ones that came as seedlings, for Super Green F1, they'll take 55 days before the farmer can harvest the first crop. And then for the ones that you do seeding, because there is time for germination, time for growing in the nursery, 6 weeks, it will take you another 1 extra month. So 2.5 months before you can harvest the one you do direct seeding. So it's very good to use seedlings. It's advisable.
Hey Gladys, so 55 days and the farmer is ready for harvest.
Yes.
Wow. Today we are focusing on bell pepper farming, that is outdoor. So right here, Gladys is going to tell us what stage is this. Gladys, what's happening at this level?
You remember I told you during planting, there are nutrients that we put in the capsicum when they are young.
So when you talk about nutrition, what is that? What is it being fed with?
Like they will require phosphorus. They require actually all nutrients, but majorly they do phosphorus when they are young. Now after harvesting like once or twice or thrice, after 1 month you are supposed to put every 2 weeks, you replenish the nutrition. So like now they have fruit, the fruits are enlarging and they are also producing flowers. Remember this crop you can harvest for a very long time.
So a long time means what?
A long time means 6 months to 8 months to 1 year, depending on management. So for this farmer now, because you can see their flowers and they are also fruits that are becoming big, they need to put a lot of potassium, a lot of calcium, a lot of and also the micronutrients that will be useful in sustaining the flowers and the fruits. So there are many fertilizers in the market, so a farmer needs to go and know what they require, what specific nutrients they require at this stage. And let no one lie to you that you can harvest this crop without replenishing the nutrients, like you just put once. No. For you to have a continuous supply of capsicum, you need to continually replenish your nutrients every 2 weeks. Put small quantities every 2 weeks.
So with bell peppers, what's the spraying pattern?
When it is hot, you should do it weekly, every 7 days. It is hot because thrips and mites, they like hot weather. They multiply very fast when it is hot. So you need to spray every weekly. And something that farmers forget is just spraying the leaves and then they don't concentrate on the ground. Remember, those pests, they hide under the. So when you spray the foliage, you also need to come up with other products that will also help you to control the pest on the soil so that you avoid them coming back on your leaves every now and then.
Gladys, I'm curious, how do you identify a nice bell pepper, like the one that is really ripe nicely?
For us consumers, mostly they like dark green. You know, there is dark green and light green. Dark green peppers are very nutritious. Like this super green, you can see the fruits are dark green in color.
Sasa unajua aje kama imekoma?
Okay, I think ni size. Consumers wa Kenya wanapenda medium size. But there are others who like large fruits. So when breeders are breeding for these seeds, they target medium size fruits and large fruits.
The big ones are normally for hotels and restaurants.
Yeah, where you cook large quantities of food. Yes. But at home, it's medium size. Yes, like this super green will give you medium sized fruits, dark green in color.
And how is the adoption of bell peppers in the local market here in Kenya?
There are very many farmers who are doing bell peppers in Kenya, actually small scale and large scale. But we also have a shortage. Sometimes you'll find that we don't have enough in the market. Farmers also wait for when there is no pepper in the market, and then they plant in large numbers, which results in prices dropping. The best thing a farmer would do is to have a continuous production. Like the way this farmer has said, they are harvesting and they have seedlings in the propagation unit that are coming in next time. So you should have a continuous supply so that you don't have that issue of prices are low, prices are high. You have continuous production throughout.
But now what happens to rotation? Because if a farmer grows that particular crop for a long time, it might harm the crop.
It's not advisable to plant the same crop throughout because you will have problems of fusarium wilt, problems of bacterial wilt, and those are very serious diseases in peppers. You will find that you will plant your crop, and then when they are almost flowering and they have tiny fruits, they all start wilting, and you can really get devastated.
What are the prices currently in the market?
At the farm gate, they are selling at 40 bob, but when they take to the market in Nairobi, they are selling at 60, 70 shillings. But in the past, like 2 months ago, they were even going for 80 bob to 100. So it means now farmers have started harvesting in other areas, and now the market is filling up. By the time we are on Christmas, the prices will have dropped completely, like up to even 30 bob.
So which is the right breed from where you sit that is really favorable for the December market?
For December market, you should have all the crops. Whether you are doing colored or you are doing green, you should have both, because remember Christmas time, people don't usually work. They are resting, so they only eat and they are not working. Mostly they stay at home, so you should have all the crops. The demand for food is quite high, so you should have all crops for Christmas.
I'm just curious, what is the alternative for bell pepper?
So alternative for this crop now, you don't rotate this one with the potatoes, tomatoes, managu, because they all belong to the same family. So you can go to other things like maize, squash, zucchini. You can do for this region, mostly they do squash and this one and pepper.
Gladys, I'm sure at this point there's someone who has been inspired to venture into this type of farming, but what are those key things they should know before they get into this type of farming?
First of all, the farmer should know the market. Where are you going to sell? You should master the market trends, because if you don't, you'll sell even at 10 bob. You need to master your market. Identify where you're going to take your peppers before you even sow. The other thing you need to know about peppers is how you're going to take care of the diseases. It's also a menace and pests. Farmers really suffer losses because of those two. The other thing you need to know is the cultural practice, how to take care of them. Because you can plant, you are very good at planting, but if you are not able to take care of the cultural practices, you will still have huge losses. You should also know the cost of your seeds, because seeds at least should have average prices, should not be too expensive. Again, don't buy so cheap seeds, because you get seeds from the right people, the ones who are approved by KEFIS. Yeah, make sure you identify your seed vendor. Let them be the ones that are approved by the government.
What are the nutritional values, by the way, for bell pepper?
They have very good nutritional value. First of all, they build your immune system. So it's very important to consume them. Many people don't consume them when they are cooked. There's the way they say, I don't know what they say, but it should be at least cooked, because they have a bitter taste, not like the sweet peppers, the ones for greenhouse. So they'll build your immune system. They also have a vitamin A for your eyes. For pregnant women, they're also good. They have a little bit of iron.
Gladys, now where this farmer has grown this bell pepper, is this a small portion of land, like half an acre or perhaps a quarter? And it's so productive. Maybe you can encourage a farmer that also with small scale you can venture into this type of crop.
The most important thing is to concentrate on production per unit area. Don't plant widely spaced crops, just plant with the right spacing, have the maximum amount of seedlings in your farm, and then take good care of them very well. For example, for this farmer, he has planted in half an acre, he has planted around between 2,500 seedlings, because 1 acre usually contains 10,000 seedlings, but under drip or furrow irrigation. So if one acre gives you 18 metric tons, this farmer is, by the end of harvesting, will have 9 tons. So assuming even he sells at the lowest of maybe 40 bob here at the farm level. So it will be now the 9 metric tons full over 30 bob, or even let's say 40 bob. So let's just give him 300 K by the time he's finishing to harvest this crop. So capsicum, when you have economies of scale, you produce in quantities. However low the price will be, you will still make money.
Gladys, at this point, you've really encouraged someone to venture into this type of farming. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You'll show me the one that you've said imekoma vizuri, so that the next time I go to the market,
yeah,
I know what to look for.
Sure. Yeah, mostly the ones that are ready,
yes,
zinakuwa kuna color ya black, unaona zingine zinakaa color ya black. Inakuwa imemaliza hiyo black color, sasa turn dark green sasa. Yeah.
I see this area has really
quite nice. Yeah, the fruits are quite many. You can see like this one has.
It's blocky.
Yeah, they are usually 3 or 4 lobes.
So in one plant you can get how many of these bell peppers?
Like at a go, you'll find one plant will have 3 or 4 harvestable fruits.
So Gladys, this is edible and ready for use, yeah?
This one, the size is very okay for the market, but this ones you can't eat because they were already sprayed yesterday. So you need to observe PHI before you harvest. So
how many days will it take before you start consuming, especially after spraying?
Depending on the chemical that was sprayed, and PHIs are different for different chemicals. Some have 0 PHI, some have 2, 3, up to 7, 14, 21 days. So farmers are advised, when you're harvesting a crop, like weekly, don't spray a chemical that will cross a PHI of 5 to 7 days. Just make it a maximum of 3 days, and then you harvest on the 4th day.
But now me as a buyer, how will I know whether this one has been sprayed or not?
At the market, it's not possible to know if the produce has chemicals, because it's not something, unless there are those colored chemicals like copper that you can see. The rest you cannot know. It's only the farmer who can decide for you if you will eat chemical or not. So
I'm at the mercies of God and the farmer. Did you hear that? Hey, farmers are super strong here. It's either you are the mercies of the farmer or God. But well, thank you so much, Gladys, for creating time today. We are so happy, and that was quite insightful. I hope you at home as well, you have been encouraged with these bell peppers. You can see it's a small portion of land, and you can actually grow a productive crop. Like you saw during the seeding, it's just like 55 days and it's ready. Wow, I'm encouraged myself. Thank you so much for being part of the show today. Until next week, my name is Linda Koskei. See you again next time.